Good morning. This is Mona, and this is my morning view. Today, Spring Edition 2026. Hear the birds singing? I had to wait a second because as soon as I was about to hit go, a plane went by. It's like, no matter what time I start, a plane goes by. A loud one. All right. It's Spring Edition 2026, and today is Tips Tuesday. Tips Tuesday. Today we're talking about favor. All right. So, it's kind of been plaguing me for quite a while about favor, about how people get favor and some people don't get favor. And it's like, God, I thought you were not a respecter of persons, right? It says you're not a respecter of persons, but yet this person has favor, this person doesn't have favor. Favor eludes me. I'm like, I don't understand, you know? It's always a toil, it's always a trouble. Mind you, that is not God's fault. Just to let you know right there. Okay, so, favor. Favor can be granted onto a person for multiple reasons. Now, first, let's talk about favor. Favor is unmerited. In other words, you can't earn it. It's grace. It's given to you, right? It's given. You can't earn. And so it's going to sound kind of weird, some of the things I'm going to say today, because you can't earn it. It's given to you. All right. So, sometimes God gives favor to those, one, that have the capacity to hold it. If you don't have the capacity to hold favor, it's like giving a child something breakable. Do you give them a glass when they're 18 months old, or do you give them, a sippy cup? There's this capacity that if we can't steward it well, if we can't handle it well, there's no point of giving it to us because we're just going to waste it anyway. Not that anything that God gives is wasted. It just gets passed on. Somebody else will take it. Somebody else will pick it up. You'll hand it over to somebody else. You'll give it to the enemy sometimes, because you don't know what to do with it. Sometimes favor looks like it's going to be the death of you. It's like what you feel like is going to destroy you actually becomes the new platform for your promotion. And the promotion is favor. Favor isn't always monetary. Sometimes favor looks different than that. Favor are for those that seek it. But not just seek favor. They ask for favor, but they seek God. They seek His righteousness. Seek ye first these things, and all those things will be added unto you. Right? So it's part of that. God isn't a respecter of persons, but sometimes somebody has a certain assignment. And in that assignment, they're going to need His favor, which is a supernatural favor. Isn't, like I said, it's not merited, right? So when somebody is chosen, when for no other reason, they're just chosen. I distinctly remember a favor of a friend who she had gone to become the head secretary, and she had no experience. as a secretary. She didn't have experience of being in the position she was in when she was in that position. But God wanted to move her out of that space and put her in a different place. And so he gave her favor. She went up against like 30 other people that had experience. They had experience. They were already in that office. They were already there. I know how I felt when I got bypassed by somebody outside when I could have done the job well, better than the person that they hired. That was how I felt. Except for I was starting to get sick. It probably still would have been better off for me in those positions than the position I was in. But that's those things that you feel like they're going to destroy you. And then they don't destroy you. And you come out stronger on the other end. Maybe not financially, I'm not stronger on the other end. But in all other ways, I'm definitely stronger on the other end. That's favor. So my friend who applied for this position with these 30 other candidates, with her not having any experience, and they had years of experience, she got the position. She still holds that position today, I think. I haven't talked to her in a while. I don't think she's retired. She was young. She's still young. But the point is that she was given favor because she has an assignment. And it was different from where she was. And the only way to get her to where she needed to go was to not be in that position, but to be in a different position. Favor. I still today say that it was the favor of God that she got any of the things that she got. Favor looks different for different people, depending on your assignment. See, it's not like the widow crying out. I was thinking about this yesterday, and it's a good example today. The woman crying out to the unjust judge. Remember, he's an unjust judge. She's crying and crying and crying and crying and crying at him. He ignores her for so long, and then he's finally just fed up with listening to her, and he's like, oh my gosh, just give her what she wants, because I'm tired of hearing this. But he was an unjust judge. And so many times people just said, oh, you just got to keep crying out to the Lord like the woman with the unjust judge. Hello? God is just. She was crying to an unjust judge and still got what she wanted, but it took crying out. It took over and over and over and over, saying, you will give me justice. And yet, we act like God is the unjust judge. But he's not the unjust judge. He's the just. And he doesn't hold back favor in the sense that if you have the capacity to hold it, he'll give it to you. It just may not look the way you think it should look. We have to get over and doing that comparison game of what favor looks like on that person and that person and that person. And a lot of times it's monetary. And we got to get out of that mode, because that could be what's holding you back from holding the capacity of the favor that God has for you. I know when poor people get all upset about rich people being rich, it hinders them from having ample finances. it hinders them from having ample finances because I gotta get a drink. It puts a mindset into their head, which can be stumbling blocks. See, not everything's about mindset. I was going to do mindset this morning. I was like, not everything's about mindset. Not everything is about mindset. You can have all the mindset you want. But it's not just about that. Now, mindset will get you far. Remember I said, in just about everything, there's this level that humans can do. But then there's the level that God can do that covers it all. Right? So mindset can get you far. And mindset even might get you what you want. But not always. Not always. Because it's not all about mindset. But if you want favor, mindset is a good way to start. To just clear the space. Clear the counter space. Because the counter space is all cluttered with all sorts of nonsense. And so there's no room for it. So that's what mindset does. It sets it up. It's like a nursery. It's like a nursery. You're expecting a baby, but the baby isn't here yet. Do you wait for the baby to come before you set up the nursery? Most people don't. There are some people that they don't have that space. But what happens when the baby comes? It's tight for a little while. Sometimes the baby has to sleep in a drawer. A dresser drawer for its cradle. Because you weren't prepared. Preparation looks different for different people as well. You may not be able to afford. But you know what? If you know that baby's coming and all you have is a dresser drawer for its cradle, you're going to prepare that dresser drawer. You're not going to come home from the hospital and throw all your clothes on the floor and then put a little blankie in there to put the baby in. You're going to prepare it. It could be a preparation of what you can do. Because as you take steps, faith has a lot to do with it. Faith is an action word. Faith is movement. Faith is you actually do something. Oh, but I don't know what to do. Believe me, I still do this. I still do this. But do something. Do something. Yes, we're not human doings, but if we just sit on our laurels and do nothing, then you're just a lazy man. A little folding of hands. Person who doesn't work doesn't eat. These are all scriptures, by the way. So you do have to do something. You need to be first. But then you have to do something. And when you do, it stretches your capacity. And as it stretches your capacity, you can be filled with favor. Little capacity, little favor. Big capacity, big favor. Your assignment What is it that God has you doing right now? Assignments can change. That's especially true for women with children. When your children are at home, when they're minors, that's an assignment. You might have multiple assignments, but that is a very important assignment, is taking care of those children. And then when they become adults and move out of the house, that assignment is over. You may end up becoming grandma assignment. I'm in grandma assignment right now, right? But there's other assignments that he may have me doing, that he may have you doing. So there's assignments that we do. And as we do them, there are some assignments that need more favor. You don't need the favor. The assignment needs the favor. And God has that assignment on you for a purpose. And if it's a big assignment, if it's something that is going to go well beyond you, it needs big favor. More than what your capacity can hold. But you have to be able to have the capacity to steward it where it needs to go. God is not a respecter of persons. The rain falls on the just and on the unjust. And we got to think about what rain is. See, a lot of times we think of rain as sorrow. But back in the day, rain meant crops. No rain meant drought. We get caught up in our Western thoughts. Our Western thoughts. And we're like, oh, that means that, bad things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. No. Good things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. Because he's not a respecter of persons, the favor will fall where the favor is received. The favor will come where the favor is needed. The favor will come because of grace, because he loves you. It doesn't mean that if favor doesn't come, that he doesn't love you. It could be that there's a wall holding it out, stumbling blocks from keeping it from coming, or capacity. Maybe you have a hole in your bucket. Well, we're kind of supposed to have a little hole in our bucket, big hole in our bucket, some kind of hole in our bucket, because we're not supposed to contain everything for ourselves. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe because there is no hole in the bucket, because of that, you're not sharing, you're being greedy. And we already know that that's going to happen. So there's no point of praying it out yet until you're ready. When you're ready to be a blessing to others because of the favor and the blessing that you have received. All right, that's pretty much all I got for you today. All right, don't forget, go over to YouTube, Mona E. Harrison, different than my Facebook profile, Mona E. Harrison. Like, share, comment, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Subscribe, it's either there or there. I think it's there. Subscribe, hit that button, hit notifications, get all the bells and whistles. And this video will be uploaded tonight or tomorrow, but you can go there and peruse other videos. Like, share, comment. Do it all. All right. That's pretty much it. And I will see you tomorrow for Wonderful Wednesday.